Paired voting system. My goal is to see a broad acceptance of the paired voting concept and its use in the broader context of decision-making and ranking of all kinds. In 1991, I read a book entitled No Excuses Management by T J Rodgers. In that book, Rodgers posited that employees should be paid based on their value. I decided to ask employees to preferentially rank their peers by what they perceived their value was to the corporation. I used Excel and its computing routines to make these concepts work. I developed a precursor to paired voting system and worked it to the prototype stage. After system deployment and use, employee cooperation improved. Employees soon realized they could get recognition from others and a pay increase by playing nice in the sandbox. It seemed to work well. The main problem was that to compensate the better performers, I had to supply lower increments to lesser performers, and all types of performers were needed. In 2004, I pitched the election form of this concept to the Progressive Conservative Party of Canada by sending an email to Peter MacKay, MP, who at the time was leader of the Progressive Conservative Party of Canada. I attached a copy of the paired voting system prototype in the form of a functional Excel program. Although they may not have used the exact same algorithm I provided, they did use a similar system of voting in their 2004 leadership convention. Stephen Harper was elected leader of the party, out of a three-person field that also included Peter MacKay and Belinda Stronach. PVS clearly and unambiguously reflects the true intentions of the voters and empowers voters to use their best intellectual abilities to focus on and deliver the best decisions. Furthermore, once decisions are made, the voters will better support these decisions. I could see that with a prototype in hand there was still a long way to go before large-scale implementation. I developed other interests and was unwilling to fully commit. However, after retirement, I decided to develop a working online application. While the Excel prototype was usable, work still needed to be done. My starting point was an Android app called Paired Voting System. In addition, I wrote an app hosted on the web. These were both launched in January 2023. These apps use Google Cloud Server working in the background to store data and run calculations. Google Firebase supplies secure communications over encrypted connections. The creation of these apps was a crucial step towards a broader implementation. I am not alone in working to get this moving on a larger scale. Progress is slow as it is difficult to get change going in the world. We hear similar terms used as people move away from the voting systems that they currently use. The purpose of this video is to illustrate a way. 1. For people to play with different voting scenarios on their own computers. 2. To supply a code-signed prototype whose code can be relied on based on the security inherent in the code signing. 3. To provide full access to the underlying code, so it can be copied, understood, and reused and repurposed as needed. Now that the preliminary introduction has been completed, we can now enter the demonstration. For a useful resource location for understanding the concept of paired voting, please refer to the enclosed links and you will have the working prototype at your disposal. You will need to use Excel to run the working version, and you may need help with launching the program. Even though the prototype is code-signed, there may be security options that need to be changed to get the prototype to run on your computer. Step 1. Open the prototype PVS voting file by selecting it from a trusted location. Select Enable Content button. The file in this example is set to a minimum number of 2 candidates and a minimum number of 2 voters. These will be changed as shown in the enclosed example. Step 2. The Visual Basic routines depicted in the menu will deploy if the Excel program has been properly deployed. Step 3. Set candidates. In this example, we will set up PVS for 21 candidates made up of 10 Democrats and 10 Republicans. There is also a WND, will not do option. WND will only come into play if all candidates are rejected as unsuitable by a majority of the voters. Select the menu button, Set Candidates, and enter 21 in the number field. PVS will then populate the candidate column with default entries. Existing entries are not deleted if the number of candidates is increased. If the number of candidates is increased, default values will be entered. Step 4. Copy candidates and paste into 4RP voting. Candidate choices may be entered by the user or copied and pasted into position. This example uses a pre-existing spreadsheet. Step 5. Set voters. For this example, voters are set as 999 default voters, all with an RNK weight of 1. This is not a proportional election. Step 6. Random vote. In a real-world situation, voters would log in and place their votes. Usually, the number of choices would be much less than what is shown here, but regardless the number of choices, in the end the final contest is between two candidates. In this example, Adam Kinzinger is ranked 1 and Nikki Haley is ranked 2. There is no such thing as split votes when using PVS. Step 7. Analysis. Adam Kinzinger and Nikki Haley are tied with respect to the number of wins at 17 with 3 losses each. There are no ties. Kinzinger has more force in his favor at 10,326 than Haley has with 10,247, thus the number 1 spot goes to Adam Kinzinger. The term rank refers to the order of the final choices as output from a PVS analysis. Rank is differentiated from the term RNK, which is how the voters see the order of the choices. The voter input at the ballot box. PVS rank order is determined by the following steps when comparing choices. Wins takes precedence over all other comparisons. If a comparison of wins is inconclusive, a comparison of ties takes precedence over lesser considerations. If prior comparisons are inconclusive, a comparison of 4s based on all pairings takes precedence over lesser considerations. If prior comparisons are inconclusive, first-place RNKs are compared. Visual Basic Code. The Visual Basic Code is not hidden and can be accessed by Alt-11 from the Open Excel workbook. Note that changes to the code will remove the code signature. The code signature is there to guarantee unchanged code. A user would be unwise to rely on unsigned code. Code signing. Finding the code signature is a simple matter of looking code signing up in the back end of the program, again by pressing Alt-11. For access to more information, I invite the user to click on whatever links they are interested in. This concludes our presentation. Thanks for watching.